there, for today's Read Aloud, we will be reading the biography over Marie Curie. This book examines the life of nuclear physicist Marie Curie. So we're going to be learning about her life. Here's a text feature, table of contents. My story is on page 4. Timeline is on page 22. Glossary, page 24. Index, page 24. So remember, this is a biography, which means that this book is going to be telling us about the life of a real person. Who? Marie Curie. So we will be learning about her, and so she'll be the topic, right? So it's very important that you remember, biographies tell why the person is important, events from the person's life, information about where the person lived, worked, or traveled, and ways the person made a difference. So, you ready to start reading? Me too. My story. I was born in Poland. It was 1867. Here's a photograph. Only men went to school. It wasn't fair. I took secret classes. I moved to Paris. I studied science. What do you want to study? What would you like to study? What would you like to learn a little bit more about? Give you some time to think about it. I love when these books have ask us, the reader, questions. All right. I worked at night. I was poor. I was hungry, but I didn't give up. I met Pierre Curie. He loved science too. We married. We set up a lab. So since they're both scientists, they did, I guess, their research and experiments in the lab. Right here, it says, I know it's kind of hard to see, do you like working in teams? What do you think? Do you like working in teams, in groups? Thumbs up or down? All right, let's keep reading. I was a woman. People doubted me. I worked harder. So here she is in her lab. It's kind of hard to see, but here's an actual photograph. Some lab coats. Very cool. So photographs, what does that mean? They were taken with cameras, right? I tested rays. I found new elements. So here's the periodic table of elements. You'll learn more about this when you get a little bit older, into the older grades. You'll learn about the periodic table. But what this means is my work made sick people better. So her work, her research and experiments, it made sick people better. So right here for biography, it says, ways the person made a difference. How did she make a difference? Well, her work, her research, and all that stuff that she did in her lab, it made sick people better. So that's how she made a difference. Get out of the way. There you go. There was a war. Doctors needed help. I made special trucks. The trucks carried X-ray machines. What helpful ideas do you have? So what are some ideas that you've had that are very helpful? Maybe helpful to your mom, dad, grandparents, siblings, your teacher, your friends. What are some ideas you've had? Give you a moment to think about it. All right, a few more times, just pause the video. What was her helpful idea? Well, she helped doctors by making special trucks. Here's one of the special trucks that carried X-ray machines. So here, right here. So sometimes if you maybe break an arm or a leg or something like that, you need a special machine called an X-ray to see what is broken and how can they fix it. All right, so that's what that is. I won 2 Nobel Prizes. Nobel Prizes, that is a huge accomplishment. Let's see if it says anything. Okay, these go to people who do important work. I was the first woman to win. That is huge, isn't that? So who was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, a huge accomplishment, a huge award? Marie Curie, right? This looks like this is a stamp of her. Yes, a stamp. So I guess whenever this had happened, back in 1903, they made a stamp. In 1934, she passed away. It says, I loved learning. I inspire others. I showed women can be scientists too. Here's a photograph of a statue of her. Little thing of her. Let's see, here's a timeline. Try to get out of the way. Timeline. 1860. 1867 is the year she was born. 1891 is when she moved to Paris. 1903 is right after she won the Nobel Prize. 1934 is when the year she passed away. So let's go ahead and go over our biography posters. I have it in front of me. So a biography tells about the life of a real person. Who is the real person we learned about today? Marie Curie. Why was this person important? Well, through her research and her work, she found new elements, and that helped make people that were sick better. Events from the person's life. So we did learn different things about her life. We learned about where she grew up, how she moved to Paris and studied science. We learned about how she worked at night and just kept trying and studying and trying to become a scientist. And we learned about whenever she got married, and her husband loved science too, and they set up a lab so they can do their research and experiments. She worked very hard. She tested rays, found new elements. My work made sick people better. We learned about when there was a war and the doctors needed help. She made special trucks that carried x-ray machines. Here's a little example. She won how many Nobel Prizes? Not one, but two, which they're important, amazing awards. And they only go to people who do very important work. So she was the first woman to do that. And here's a little picture of a stamp. And then, And then she inspired other women to be scientists too. So that was events from her life. That was information about where she lived, where she worked, where she traveled, and the way that she made a difference in the world. Did we see photos and artwork of her? Yes. Were the events in order from earliest to latest? Yes, and even right here in the timeline. And was there an example of a timeline? Yes, right here. So I hope you enjoyed today's today's biography over Marie Curie, and I hope you learned some new information about this person.